And RBA Governor Michelle Bullock warned in Senate estimates that any decision to raise interest rates would be driven by the data. Here she was.
If it turns out, for example, that inflation starts to go up again, or it's much stickier than we think, we're not getting it down, then we won't hesitate to move and raise interest rates again. In contrast, if it turns out that the economy is much weaker than expected and that puts more downward pressure on inflation, then we'll be looking to ease.
All right, Herald Sun's business legend Terry McCrann joins me now. Terry, great to see you again. What's your analysis of this data today? And I'm sure you would have heard the views of Andrew Charlton and Bridget McKenzie just a minute ago.
Well, Shari, I think that, Michelle, I'm glad that you showed the full quote, because the media has tended to only focus on the first part of what she said, that she wouldn't hesitate to raise interest rates if inflation proved sticky or went up. But she also said that she wouldn't hesitate to cut interest rates if the economy was sicker than she believed it was. So that's very important to bear in mind, because we have a very messy economy. We have an economy which is very sick. It's not performing, it's not growing, as you've indicated. It's basically standing still, despite this massive inflow of migrants, which dramatically add to demand or should be boosting the economy. But it's also got this persistent inflation problem. This is not a conventional situation, Sherry, where the economy is either in recession and inflation is low, so you cut interest rates to boost the economy, or the opposite, where inflation is up but the economy is booming, so you try to slow things down. This is a very messy situation, and it's not caused, as Chalmers was suggesting, by the Reserve Bank putting up interest rates. Certainly that's been a negative, but the real problems are what the government has been doing, what it's been doing to energy, what it's been doing to costs, what it's been doing so damagingly to employers and business, not just small business, but business across the board.
So you're talking about productivity here. You're talking about the slow productivity here has had a big impact. All of that, Sherry. Exactly. The sort of things that are anti-productivity, anti-growth, anti-encouragement to business to actually make investments and to employ people, and to really think that the only thing that counts in this economy is building more and more roads and rail and infrastructure to house all those migrants, and also, the mad rush to renewable energy. I mean, we weren't expecting this, were we? There was a lot of discussion that we'd be even seeing rate cuts later this year. That seems to be disappearing fast.
Well, as Michelle Bullock made very clear, the Reserve Bank is trying to balance and sit on this very narrow path, gently putting pressure on inflation. She's prepared to have inflation take till the end of next year to get back into its target, because she doesn't want to see unemployment rocketing up very sharply. And by and large, she's managed to succeed in that so far. The jobless rate is still around 4.5%, and interest rates in Australia are actually lower than they are in other countries, in most of our comparative countries. So yes, at the start of the year, many economists were predicting rate cuts. I remember one economist predicting we'd get a rate cut in February. Didn't happen. And you certainly can't predict it from what Michelle had to say today. But I have a sense, Shari, that we're going to see in the next couple of months this economy break in one or two ways. Either that inflation pressure will become so persistent, so entrenched that Michelle Bullock will have to hike, or in fact the economy really will snap. Because we're very close to this economy snapping. Businesses out there are in very tough times, and businesses out there are going broke, as you know, by numbers which we haven't seen for decades. So this is an economy which is really teetering on the brink, and it's not an economy in which the government should be sitting there as a spectator. The government should be doing the things to relieve the cost of living pressures, and not just with a $300 energy handout. Serious measures which will actually make this economy more productive.
Yeah, look, there's no question cost of living is the major issue. A lot of families are really struggling. Terry McCrann, thank you very much.